It's the Center Fantasy Football Podcast.
Welcome to the party, pal! Yes! Yes! Yes, this is my favorite part of the game.
Analyzing all of the league matchups week to week.
You can't win!
Get him a body bag! Finish him!
That is a bit above average.
I said this sucks, and basically so do you.
And discussing the boom, bust, and hidden gem players throughout the league.
We ain't found shit!
What the hell is Brett Favre doing here?
I'm in town to play the Dolphins, you dumbass.
Dan Marino should die of gonorrhea and rot in hell. Laces out.
Touchdown!
And here's your host,
Allow myself to introduce myself.
David Harbatkin. Hello and welcome to the Center Fantasy Football Podcast for Week 5 of Season 8. I'm your host, David Harbatkin, joined by the Commissioner of the League, Mr. Manny Friedman.
What's up, everyone?
The coach of the Hackettstown Hagglers, Mr. Gay Zaletzky.
What's up?
And Odwin's hand.
How you doing?
And or chin. Welcome to the show.
How we doing?
I have like a Fu Manchu. I see. I finally got the Minshew almost going, and you're putting on like some ridiculous screen capture. Okay. All right. Well, let's delve into these games from last. It's been so long. I don't even remember what happened. I mean, it was ridiculous with the COVID break and everything else. What are you now? Just an A? I preferred the other thing. You don't want to show your kitchen, you know? Center Cribs edition. Well, anyway, let's delve into these games. All right, so what even happened? It feels like so long ago. What's the problem of doing it on a Thursday? Where do we want to start? Let's breeze through this. What is your finger on top of your face now? What are you doing? How do you go in front of it? Is that your green screen?
Just relax, man, and go through it.
All right, we can start with the biggest blowout of the week, which was me getting blown out. That's the biggest blowout of the week. I mean, honestly, after all the other ones, this is not that bad, really. 135 to 107.28 is the biggest blowout. What happened, everybody? Did we start to get competitive in our game?
People pulled their groin and then got DWIs and a bunch of other stuff. Because this has turned into WWF. Football season. Getting into fist fights with their teammates, but we'll get into that later.
There's a little chaos going on.
Things are getting out of hand in Hackettstown real quick.
Yes, they are. We will certainly get into that. But first, we can get into this game as the Lightning Rods win 135.60 to 107.26. We certainly exceeded our projections. And did he actually almost meet him? Like, his projection was 135.4. He got 135.6. I don't think I've ever seen Yahoo be that close to predicting it. Wow, like 0.2 off. That's impressive. Led by Russell Wilson with 30.48 points. Allen Robinson got 19, 18 for Kareem Hunt, 11 for Hilaire, who we'll see what the effect of Le'Veon Bell signing with them is going to be. 13 from Devontae Parker and 14 from the kicker, Greg Zuerlein. For the 1603 years, Roethlisberger 27, only 10 for Higgins. This Gage one pisses me off, 3.6. 14.40 from Justin Jackson, and Myles Gaskin got 20. I don't know where that came from. 7 from Ebron, 11.3 from Beasley, and 11 from the kicker. Anyway, so the reason why the Gage thing pisses me off is because originally I had Edelman playing in that spot. But then, of course, because, you know, who knows what happens on a day-to-day basis, find out, I wake up Sunday morning, and it's like, sorry, he's not playing. So I'm like, shit, who do I even have? So I'm like, all right, I'll shove Gage in there, even though because it was like 20 minutes before the game. I honestly actually was gonna pick up Mike Williams, who you ended up picking up in the auction, I think.
Mm-hmm.
I was going to pick him up. I, in fact, mentioned him to Geese, but he was questionable. And I'm like, can I wait till the Monday night? I mean, I don't even know if the Monday night games are going to have, I don't know. So I just shoved Russell Gage in there, even though I had absolutely no intention of playing him. I wanted him on my bench so that I could drop him mid-game if he, unless he was basically, he was on a tryout for me. I was going to see, are you worthy of staying on this team? And then if he wasn't, I was going to drop him mid-game. If he was having a good game, I'd go, all right, whatever. You could stay another week. But he's fucking gone. He sucked. Goodbye. Get out of here. Otherwise, I'm impressed by Justin. What? Sorry.
Mike Williams went for 30 points?
27. So that would have been – I would have lost by a point. It's the only thing that gives me any solace this week is that it wouldn't have been exactly – I wouldn't have won, but I would have been much closer. Whatever. I mean, everybody. I mean, look at my bench. This is what you see. What I have to work with. Everybody was on a bye. I mean, I had 7.40 points left on the bench because everybody was off. What are you gonna do?
What are you gonna do?
I know. But good for the Lightning Rods. He moves to 4-1. I mean, he's a good team. Russell Wilson's been good. And he's got a lot of other good performers. I mean, hockey, what do you have to say about this? I mean, because you're the one who has been, complaining that everybody's a bunch of clowns. Is he a worthy 4-1 team? There goes the finger to unmute it.
Look, I think he's better than some of the other teams that have winning records with B or C lister type of players. But I do think the Russell Wilson phenomenon that he has been enjoying over the last couple of weeks is certainly anchoring his team. I mean, we all know Russell Wilson is good, but I mean, the numbers that this guy's been putting up have just been, astronomical. So, anchored by that QB pick, a pick that he drafted, credit him to that. Substantively better than some of these other teams that didn't draft as well and somehow have winning records. So I would say he's sort of middle of the road. Is it demonstrative of 4-1? I don't know about that.
I mean, in this league, that is. All right, so we can get into some of the other teams. Anybody else have any comments on this game, these two teams, or anything? Oh, do you want to talk about or anything else, hockey? All right, he doesn't. He already muted himself. The finger came in. Anybody else?
Yeah, like I said, it's been Russ.
Yeah, the Russell Wilson show.
Yep. All right, so moving on to the next game. Where do we want to go?
Let's just
Do you want to get into WWF right away, or do you want to go save it for later?
Let's just go into it. Let's just get it over with.
You're going to get it over with. He'll stop watching after he hears his name. He's our biggest fan. You got to keep him. You got to keep him on the line. Think that he's actually going to get an apology or something.
He already kind of got one from me, but let's just get into it.
All right, fine. Go for it.
What a shit show this was. During this game, I watched that TikTok video you sent of that cute little girl saying, "I'm caffeinated and let's get the shit show." I mean, that was more entertaining than these week's games. It felt like, but Mahomes was terrific. But I was kind of worried that he would be outscored by Derek Carr because Carr was outscoring Mahomes for most of the game. And actually, Nick was getting me nervous on the Facebook post as I was driving home from Gronky Konk's wedding. So that was a little bit nerve-wracking, but Mahomes was great. I can't ask for anything more than 33 points. I was extremely pleased to see Miles Sanders on the bench, especially after that 74-yard touchdown run. I mean, that was hilarious. That was probably the shining moment of the week for me. But his team is it's solid. The fact that he only got 13.44 from Prescott when he got, hurt with that terrible ankle injury, and he still put up 146. I mean, I got to give props to him. He has a decent team. I'm not apologizing. I'm just saying you have a pretty good team. Mike Davis, I mean, he's been good in McCaffrey's absence, but that's a lucky break for him that, he could kind of eat up all those points when their starting running back is gone. I'm sure Dave. That must hurt you. Metcalf is, probably the receiver of the league. I think this year he's taking the role of Michael Thomas. And then after I get like a Shafto trade offer from Eugene after he beats me for fucking two Redskin receivers, two Redskin scrubs, one that put 5.6 points up. I mean, I declined that in like 2 seconds. So
I think taking out brass knuckles and beating his teammates, because then it would be the role of Michael Thomas. wouldn't exactly say that.
After he offered me Metcalf for McLaurin and whoever was on his bench, I think some Gibson. I proceeded to offer him Kelsey for, I think, Jefferson and Cook or something like that, just kind of to rub it in a little bit to show him how offended I was by that crappy trade offer. So, but, my one shining moment in this game is that Carson outscored Sanders 19.9-0. So, I'll take that small victory, but Eugene, you do have a good team. You're 4-1, putting up 140 points without your quarterback doing much. What can I say? Well deserved.
Ugh. What is this? This is no. All right, Geese. I'll let you. First of all, I love your reaction just watching him talk about your player there. Well, sort of your player. I mean, he's on your team. He hasn't actually played for you. All right, Geese, I'll let you get into this before. First of all, would you like to issue an apology? I mean, he's demanding formal apologies from all of us, even though you actually picked him, I believe. He wants a 1,000-word apology from all of us, but you only have to give him a 500-word apology.
I demand an apology for that bullshit trade offer.
Well, at least it wasn't. At least it wasn't Sanders for McCaffrey, which is what he offered me this week.
Oh, well, honestly, if I didn't drop Emmanuel Sanders and I had him in the game, I would have won. And I was debating whether or not to keep Traquan Smith or Sanders, and I thought, Traquan Smith had a better game last week. He's kind of younger. Sanders is, in his early 30s. Kind of washed up, so I took like kind of a gamble, but proved to be a bad one. And I had John Brown in there initially. I thought he would end up playing, but I needed to kind of go the safe route and go with Traquan. I mean, Brown didn't play, so it didn't make much of a difference, but that was a little bit disappointing that, I didn't have Emmanuel Sanders in there.
So anything else before I get ready to issue my statement? Now, okay. So amongst the 30,000 emails or texts that I got from him this week, I think that I'm literally the only person that he texts. Well, I don't know how he has time in the day, frankly. So first of all, your team did fine. 129 is a respectable score. As far as him, once again, doing exactly what I said he would do, which is making the wrong choice every week. 23 points from Miles Sanders. There he is sitting on the bench. And he gets screwed with Dak Prescott. Nothing you could do there. I mean, that sucks for him. He was trying to peddle Gibson and McLaurin as if they're good.
I got that from Michael Thomas.
Yeah.
Gibson McLaurin combo meal. Garbage meal.
Yeah, which he's trying to sell at like the worst time. It's like, oh, the meat went rancid. Here you go. Like, at least try to sell more. He'll be more than satisfied with more. We got 19.30 points, which is less than Sanders. I don't know. That's DJ less than Miles Sanders sitting on your bench, but whatever. AJ
You know what
Green,
his
how's
problem
that?
is? He's peddling football players. My team's WWE, so like I don't know any current wrestlers, but I'm accepting trades for like John Cena and Brock Lesnar for Michael Thomas right now. Not Gibson and McDowell's.
I mean, but all right, you want to look at this team? Let's look at this team. So Prescott's now gone. McLaurin sucks. Fuller is going to get injured one of these weeks. I'm telling you it's going to happen. Josh Jacobs, he's fine. He usually performs pretty well. Mike Davis, in about 2 weeks, he's going to be worthless. Kelsey, he's good. He's fine. DJ Moore, I think this was his first. Yes, this is his second double-digit game. He's not exactly a barn burner there with his 9.4, 8.5, and 8.9. Gaze's cat can get that. Miles Sanders, I know you've been touting him forever. This is the first time he actually exceeded 20, and you kept him on your bench.
Yeah.
But that's fine. CeeDee Lamb, is he really going to be good now that Dak is not going to be throwing to him? Now that he's going to have the Red Rocket thrown to him? We'll see.
Now with Prescott hurt and then Levy on the Chiefs, I would say Gronky Kong won that trade deal.
Yeah, exactly. So really, all right, he's 4-1 right now. But he's gonna suck.
The season is young.
The season is young, and his team is going to suck. So yes, you have gotten off to a decent start for the first part of the season. It's a long season, and you're in serious trouble. Now, I know you've said that I've poisoned the well for your ability to trade, but let me say this. I don't want to poison the well. I think that anybody who wants to trade with Eugene, by all means, please, I invite you to trade with Eugene if you think that he gives you a fair deal. By all means, go ahead. You might be mocked on this show if it's a bad deal, but if it's a good deal, by all means, I highly recommend it. Like Gronky Kong, there was no comment about that deal. I mean, granted, it ended up working in his favor even better now, but there's no comment about that. So I'm going to withhold any kind of apologies right now for later on, where, you know, if I have to give you a 1,000 or 2,000 word apology, I'll be happy to. But at this point, there's no need because your team's about to suck, son. All right. Dr. Hockey, do you have anything to say?
Yeah. As a matter of fact, I also will decline from apologizing now and forever. But I honestly believe that the Vegas luck and the law of averages will eventually come to roost on all you guys that drafted poorly and have these B-listers and C-listers on your roster. And you think you can go far. I mean, some of you have got to a good start. I think Eugene has had some surprises. Dak was a surprise. McLaurin is on a crappy team, but independently, his numbers are not crappy. But overall, he's still a crappy player. And I think when you add his crappy players with the rest of his crappy team, eventually the Vegas luck will run out and the law of averages will kick in. And it will once again reveal that you cannot win substantially or go far in this league without having A-listers on your roster. But for Sam's the example with Gates' team. Right? It just doesn't happen in our league. But kudos to you guys right now for thinking you can get ahead, for inexplicably, quote unquote, saving your money in the draft, when in reality, the downside and the downfall of that will show itself during the course of this season.
Interesting.
Anything else?
But kudos to the guy. The guy's winning games right now. But I will not apologize.
I have nothing to apologize for. Nothing to apologize for. Feel free to throw your shoe at the TV, though. Maybe that I have to apologize for. I'm sorry for how many TVs I've cost you every week when you throw it at the television because of how much you hate this podcast that you keep listening to and can't turn away from. Anybody else have anything about this?
Nope.
All right,
Nope.
so Eugene can
I
go.
will add, though, too, the only reason why he actually won by his 11-point margin against Wakanda was because Derrick Henry was caught in this COVID cycle and was forced to be, put on the bench.
Don't even get me started.
I, unlike Eugene, have full intention on playing players that actually score points. And just got hemmed up that week.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at it, I think the top teams are really teams that have not faced any real COVID problems so far. First of all, and I think that the teams at the bottom really have faced a lot of difficulties this season. We'll see how it continues.
And we've talked about this too. To get far in this league, you have to be lucky enough to not be saddled with injury, and you got to have your A-listers. And this COVID thing is starting to come up as its own form of injury to players, even if your actual player doesn't have COVID, aka Derrick Henry.
It's worse if your player doesn't have COVID, because then you can't even put him on the IR. I'd at least like my players to get COVID, because then I could put them on. I mean, it's terrible to have a player that's on a COVID team that doesn't have COVID, because you just get as fucked as the player who has it, except you can't put him in an IR spot. Ridiculous.
Especially when it's the player you spent the most money for.
Exactly. But I mean, he doesn't need. I mean, look, he's got Aaron Rodgers to fill in for Prescott. That should fill him just fine. But other than that, I mean, he's going to lose Mike Davis pretty damn soon, and the rest of his team does not impress. I mean, Josh Jacobs, I still think he's good. He was good this week, but he's been pretty bad. If you look at it, it's bookended: 35 the first week and 22 the last week. But in a couple weeks, this team is not going to be that great. And here's the other thing. I think in this league this year, more than any other year, you just have to make the playoffs. If you make the playoffs, because there's so much crap that's surrounding everything, if you make the playoffs, I think that somebody unexpected could go on a run, because I don't think that it's necessarily going to be reflected, the standings at least, of the quality of team. It might. I certainly think with the first place team, Zamunda right now, it kind of does. And maybe Gronky Kong. I haven't really looked at them lately. Your burner team, but we'll see when I look at it to see if it's a crap pile or not. And I really don't pay that much attention to any of you. This is really the only time that I ever pay attention to any of you. Yeah. And I'm barely paying attention now. But anyway, congratulations on your win. You're 4-1. We'll see how it ends up. And yeah. All right. Anything else? Didn't think so. Where are we moving to now? Oh, wait, Eugene, we'll be back to talk about you a little bit later. So I know you could tune out now for the next hour or so while you wait for your name to be mentioned again. All right. So which game is next?
Do you want to go into wrestling, or do you want to stay in football?
We can go into wrestling. All right. We'll go to the other Hackettstown team. As the Hackettstown Body Slammers take on Gronky Kong. Taking away, Geese. I was very impressed with your game, actually.
No, this would have been a game had Brock Lesnar not smashed a chair over somebody's fucking head during practice. So this shit show, I mean, you want to talk about what Dr. Hockey was saying about injuries, COVID. Now we're going to add fist fighting and DWIs to the circus this week in Hackettstown. As once again, Sammy Watkins has decided to have an injury to, who knows what it is this time. I think it's just hamstring. It always happens never happens after the game. So
hamstring. But he's likely to avoid injury reserve.
You might want to avoid injuries, Sammy Watkins, but okay, that's fine. But let's start off with Bridgewater. Bitchwater was just he should. I don't even. He's like an after effect of 2 weeks ago when Tannehill and COVID-19 guy at the bottom of our injury list got held back, and we missed the entire auction because we couldn't draft anybody. So 24 points. Okay, that's fine. We actually outdid Allen. Watkins with his nonsense. Emmanuel Sanders, who Manny claims is washed up, kicked him out into the garbage pan. Well, we scraped off the mold, and he got 24 points. That was pretty good. But then here's where it starts to get questionable. Dalvin Cook having a sensational first half and then grabs his leg. Catches a nothing pass in the flats, goes out of bounds, and grabs his leg and his groin. He's bopping his banana, but don't worry, his bopping partner, Melvin Gordon, who Dave knows from last year or 2 years ago? Melvin Gordon got injured on the plane flight to a game because he was bopping his banana at 40,000 feet.
On the way to
He
London.
gets a DWI. He can't help himself since he's off this week because his game got rescheduled. So he has to go around drunk driving. But he's out of there. So I had to put in, who is this guy? D. Johnson. Ernest Johnson or D. Ernest Johnson.
It's D. Ernest Johnson.
D. Ernest Johnson. I'm sorry. D. Ernest Johnson was horrendous. Okay. Kareem Hunt got all of the carries. I mean, you would have thought that he'd be on third down. No, he literally was holding his helmet next to the coach, holding the coach's Gatorade, holding the coach's schlong, whatever he was doing. It was horrible. It was a horrific. But again, you wake up in the morning, like Dave said, 5 minutes before the game, your guy's out. So we had to throw that guy in there. Gasecki was fine. This Ward guy is out of here. There was another guy, Fulgham. Fulgham if you got him. He had like 10 catches for $152 and a touchdown. Why am I sifting through Philadelphia garbage players? Like, what? Why? Because people are brawling on the sidelines during the week, and this is what we have to go with. And on the sly, his points didn't even register until like midnight. And the Indianapolis defense somehow got back to 10 points. I mean, Gronky Kong was beatable this week. It was actually a beatable team. I had to watch Gurley Man run up and down. He was the only one doing anything in that game besides Ridley. Thielen, of course, had a field day once the guy grabbed his groin. That's great. So after he goes out, the one guy I can't have do anything got like 2 touchdowns and like 50 catches in the second half. That's okay though.
Fucking Jefferson didn't catch any passes. It felt like. I don't know. I mean, Seattle, like as good as they are offensively, they just can't stop anyone either. I mean, it's
nope. My only chance was if the Buffalo game didn't happen, but it didn't even matter.
It did matter. If Allen didn't play, then he would have been screwed. There was a lot riding on just whether or not that game would be played or not.
Mm-hmm. Any bench blunders? Let's go down. Well, besides the Melvin Gordon drinking and driving, if I call that a bench blunder, it's kind of out of my control.
I mean, Tannehill had 36.
Whew! Okay, that would have helped. I mean, wouldn't it? I don't even think it would have. It would have been, an extra 12 points?
Yeah, 143.
It would have been close.
It would have made it
close.
Yeah.
Whatever. But no, we usually don't start winning until we're 0-5 anyway. So here we are. We're right where we want to be. Hackettstown Hagglers are right where we want to be at 0-5. At least Nick and Jamie win because are we sharing the basement?
I believe they lost in a really terrible game. We'll get into that game.
I don't think we're in last place. I think actually we're ahead of Nick and Jamie by 1 point.
We'll see, but they suck. I mean, their loss this week was embarrassing, but we'll get into that in a second. Wow, Corey Davis actually had a COVID-19 designation. Good for him. So, yeah, I mean,
we would have beat 7 other teams this week.
Yeah, I was shocked at the score that you had, and especially considering that you had all that shit happen. Like the fact that you still generated 131 is pretty impressive.
Fist fighting, drunken driving. And what else?
The
Sammy
brawl.
Watkins grabbing his knee or his hamstring.
The brawl for Michael Thomas.
Dalvin
He was
Cook
fine.
with his so fist fighting, drunken driving. Dalvin Cook grabbing his groin, and Sammy Watkins grabbing his hamstring, and we still just lost.
And by the way, Corey Davis had COVID. I mean, and that game went on.
Well,
like,
COVID,
yeah,
shenanigans.
I know. That's impressive.
So,
But Gronky Kong, look, credit to him. He's also spent how much money? I'm actually very curious to go over the transactions and how much money he has because he finally spent some money this week. But like, I mean, I guess he keeps spending $3 and $3, but this week he actually spent some money. So I'm just curious how much he has. But he seems to get the players that he wants every week. Very interesting. All right, Hockey. Any commentary about this game or these teams?
Nope.
Okay. All right. Now we can move on to that Nick and Jamie until the Trey game. All right. So this is ridiculous. This game comes down to one thing. First of all, it's just terrible scores. 111.60 to 103.16, Tillett Trey chooses to play Julio Jones, who didn't play, and sat Brandon Cooks, who had 30. He should have won this going away. You could add, I mean, you don't even have to subtract anything. Just add 30.10 points if he just simply plays the player that's playing. Wake up Sunday morning, set your alarm clock, just check to make sure that your guy's playing, and you get an extra 30 points. You get 141. You get one of the top scores in the league. But no, you didn't choose to do that. And so you won. You didn't deserve to win, but this shows how horrid Nick and Jamie are that they lost to this. to make that kind of embarrassment. They spotted you a receiver. They spotted you a wide receiver 1. And you still, I mean, unbelievable. I mean, like, all right, so 23 points for Breeze, 0 from Julio Jones because he didn't play, 5 from Renfro, 12.3 from that Johnson. I think it's David Johnson, whatever. Frank Gore gets 3, 1.4 from Thomas, but he gets 25 from Crowder, 26 from the Baltimore defense, and 15 from Will Lutz. Now, his entire team was atrocious, and the one good player was on the bench. When he pulls it up, all you need is that's more than enough against Nick and Jamie's garbage barge. 30 from Watson. I was pretty sure he was going to have a good game now that O'Brien's gone. Tariq Hill with 18. I mean, so they spread it out decently. 11 from Gallup, 13 from Drake, 15 from Mixon. Ertz only, and then it just drops off a cliff. 1 from Ertz, 7 from Fitzgerald, 6 from Butker, and -1 from the defense. So their bottom has so Tillett is bottom heavy, and Nick and Jamie is top heavy. But this game shouldn't have even been close. I mean, you want to talk about a bench, but it didn't matter. It didn't matter.
Nope.
And that's really, yeah. I don't know what else to say.
Nope. You spot a guy a wide receiver 1.
And still beat him by like 9 or 8.
I would have beat both of these teams, by the way.
Oh, yeah. Definitely.
It's okay.
You wouldn't have beaten Tillett had he not, if he chose to not spot you, the receiver, though.
No, well, whatever. Doesn't matter anyway. We lost anyway. What does it matter?
All right. So anybody have any other comments about this game?
No, I wish I could play one of these teams next week.
Do you? I mean, you have to play them at some point. All right. So, I mean, hockey, I'm assuming that's a no.
Nope.
That's the finger.
All right, moving on to the next game. We can move on to the St. Louis Blues losing to the Zamunda Lions in the battle of the first place at the time. Despite top scorer Goff, St. Louis Blues fall to the Zamunda Lions 140 to 123. That's the top score, 28.36. That's all you need to know about this game. By the way, top scorer Goff, 28.36. Kyler Murray got 28.30. So let's not act like he was just out, throwing bombs out there. It was 0.6. What is that, 6 yards less? Okay, so that's the quarterback comparison. Amari Cooper only got 4.1, 19.5 from Robbie Anderson, 0.8 from Deontay Johnson. All those points went to Claypool.
0.8.
I don't even know what happened there. 1 reception for -2 yards. That's impressive. Okay. Compared to Robert Woods with 17.10, at least he's finally playing him. McKinnon only gets 2.5, 23.50 for Elliott, 19 from Kamara, 15 from Rojoke, 17.6 from Andrews, and 12.3 from Graham. That was, I mean, I know that he was struggling with who to play because he lost a tight end or something to something. What happened with that? There was Jonnu Smith. He didn't know if Jonnu Smith was going to play. So really he had 21 points on the bench, but he was worried about that. So he had to play somebody. And he played Graham on the Thursday night, and he ended up getting a touchdown, and that was good enough for him. And then 21.6 from Ridley. And his team is just ridiculous. Yeah. So, yeah. I mean, Zamunda, there's not really that many. No bench blunders. I mean, Jonnu Smith, I can't really consider him a bench blunder. Nick also picked up, by the way, Herbert, who had 35 points. But either way, he was going to win this game. And I think he remains at the top of the league. So, yeah. Odd one I could see wants to get in on this. We'll let the finger go.
Look, Zamunda's the best team in the league. Right? Who are we kidding ourselves? The best team in the league, best roster in the league. You know why he has the best roster? Because he drafted well. Another reason why is because other people drafted poorly, and he seized on that. He's put together a good team. He hasn't made any stupid trades yet, and he's cruising right now. That's all that needs to be said about Zamunda.
And there goes the finger. Anybody else?
No, that's it.
Anybody want to comment on Cyberdyne?
No, I wouldn't draft anybody whose name is D. Johnson in this league.
There's a lot of Johnsons. You could have a full team of Johnsons.
Have a D. Johnson, and they're both terrible this week.
But Joneses are great. I mean, look at this Jones.
I'm 15.5. Somebody who can do something.
Yeah, I should just have an all Jones team. You could get him easily. Marvin Jones Jr., Aaron Jones, Rojo. You can get a Jones team. Daniel Jones.
Julio Jones.
Play him even if he's benched. All right, so that's it for this game. Let's move right. Nothing.
Nothing.
Yeah. All right, and we'll move on to the last game. As Wakanda wins 111.40 to 88.52. Dr. Hockey, bring your finger in here and let's let you go over your game.
Look, I don't have too much to say. Congratulations for Whalers putting on a competitive attempt. But just a little bit too much for him this week. I had my man back, Derrick Henry. Diggs has been phenomenal all season long. However, I must add that Lamar has practically been a shadow of himself from last year. Another underwhelming performance for Lamar Jackson. He's got less run attempts. He's got less rushing yards. He threw a couple of balls that were dropped that should have been picked in that game. This guy's not that exciting. I don't know what's going on with that department.
Would you rather have him or Dak Prescott right now?
yeah, there we go. But I had to rely on my clutch players, my A-list players, people who I drafted to bring it over the top. And that's exactly what happened on Tuesday night.
Well, Melvin Gordon might need an attorney. So are you available? Some of my players might need attorneys. Actually, Michael Thomas might need one too. Assault charges and DWI. The charges are racking up in Hackettstown. We're going to need a good lawyer.
Fortunately,
your firm's available.
Fortunately, the league has a lot of them. So it was looking like Whalers. I mean, this is more like the garbage pile that I remember dumping into the garbage that Whalers picked up in the trash can. There was 1 week there where it looked like, oh my God, what are all these gems? I mean, Shark had an insane amount of points. Tom Brady threw for like 4. I think between the two of them it was like 70 points between the two of them. And then they came back down to earth this week. They wanted to perform 1 week as best as they could for their new team. They picked them out of the trash can. But then, no, they couldn't sustain it. Tom Brady with only 16 points. Chark went out with an injury.
Was 88 the league low? Were they the only ones that didn't get 100?
I think so. I mean, we could check that to make sure, but I'm pretty sure. Yeah, everybody had at least on it. I know. On top of that, he picked up the Kelly guy out of my trash can, and it turned out that it was Justin Jackson who was on my roster, who ended up being the main guy. He everything went wrong for him this week. Lockett was the guy who wasn't getting the points. Kittle only gets 8.4. Slayton actually was good. I mean, there's one thing, 20.9 for him. -3 for the Buffalo defense, who we picked up like on Monday. I mean, that's literally as bad as you can go. Like, that means that they didn't do anything. Because -3 is that means that you gave up the maximum amount of points over 35. And that means that you didn't have a sack. You didn't have an interception. Nothing. There was nothing to get you a point. That's as bad as a defense could be. And as far as on the bench, this made me feel good. So A.J. Brown, who he picked up out of my trash can, had 21, but he didn't play him, which you can't blame him because you didn't know if that game was going to go forward. Devonta Freeman, though, I mean, there's somebody not from my trash can, from his, from that he actually spent money on. That's like 2 games in double digits already for the Giants. So that might actually turn out to be a decent pickup. And Darrell Henderson showed up this week. I didn't really pay any attention to that game, but good for him there.
He claims that Kittle is the best tight end in the league, but when you have crappy quarterbacks throwing to him, I feel like you're going to end up with more weeks with 8.4 points than whatever he had last week, which was 30 plus. So almost 40 points. So
yeah, but I mean, he's still
someone you play, but I don't think he's like as good as Kelsey is or
what is this? The suck up to Eugene day? Give me a break.
No, well, I mean, yeah, okay, Waller, but
fine, if Waller. Don't mention anybody on the crush. Come on, just perked up. He just got a boner from hearing that. Ridiculous.
I was just being objective in terms of who I think is the best tight end. I don't.
This is not an objective news show. This is a spin show. This is like.
I'm not trying to hype anyone up. I'm just because the Whalers was claiming that Kittle was the best tight end of the league, and I just don't think so.
Good. Do that kind of stuff. This is not even Fox News. This is OAN. That's how ridiculous we are in our takes. We are not even going even to the remotely legitimate. No. Stir that pot. All right. Although don't do it with the Whalers because that guy is just like too ridiculously good in everything. And if you poke that bear, he's going to win everything. And I'm terrified of it. So Whalers, good job. Sorry you had a bad week, sir. I apologize. I apologize to you. All right. So that does it for last week's games. Yeah. Wow, we're actually moving on at a normal, decent pace. I like this. Okay. It's good because there's basketball games to be played tonight. So I guess it's time that we will take a break. And then once we come back on the other side of the break, now you can get like the look of the full Fu Manchu. Do you see it? I mean, because it's like white down there, so you can't really see it as well, but it looks absolutely ridiculous. All right, so we're gonna take a quick break. We'll come back right after this, and we'll go over the draft result or the auction things and preview next week's games. All right, so we'll be back right after this. over the results or what happened with the free agent. I really didn't even pay attention this week, by the way. What happened with this? Anything of note? I kind of vaguely saw stuff. That's the wrong thing. All right. Well, we could go over the standings. We're right here. So Zamunda's in first place with 783 points, followed by Gronky Kong at 4-1, and then 4-1 for Dave Secret Crush with 699. 4-1 for the Lightning Rods, who's just right behind him. Then we get to the 3 and 2s, which is the Blues and the 1603ers. Clearly, the Blues have way more points than we do. And then we get to the 2 and 3s. I can't believe that you're in the 2 and 3s. Jesus. 2 and 3 Hackett Sounds Fine. It's 2 and 3 Wakanda Panthers, 2 and 3 Whalers, and then the 2 and 3 Tillet Trey team. And then we get down to the 11s. And you are correct, Geese.
Look at that. We're beating Nick and Jamie by 1 point.
I know.
We're 1 point less horrid.
There you go. See? However, you have way more points against, by the way.
Yeah, we played all the top teams.
There you go. Well, I wouldn't call the 1603ers top team, but whatever. All right. So, yeah, you are not in last. You're moving on up. 11th.
I'm losing. We're losing on up.
You are losing on up. There you go.
There you
all
go.
Right.
Who else could lose their way up the charts?
Exactly. All right. So these are the free agents. All right. So these were the bids that happened yesterday. So there was a lot. So I guess it starts here. Chase Claypool.
Woo!
55 for Chase Claypool. Awarded to who got Dave Secret Crush. Look at that. He's trying. He likes to spend money on having guys that are I mean, is Chase Claypool really,
is he gonna put up that kind of performance again?
I don't think so. First of all, he's playing the Eagles. I mean, most of the time they've been giving up to the tight end. However, the Eagles decided to give up to Claypool. I mean, maybe we'll see. All right, but 41, Gronky Kong, your burner team did that. And then the finest bid 15 for that. Wow, you bid against. I like it. I like when you show different variations on what you want.
Manny had Claypool and he dropped him. That's the kicker.
Yeah, true. I did.
Get him for free.
Yeah.
He wouldn't have played him. Nobody would have played a Claypool.
I know. Yeah, so then Mike Williams.
He's on a bye this week, but, he's been decent, and Herbert has really been shining. So, he's a good person to keep on my bench.
As Dr. Hockey reappears. I guess he pressed the wrong finger on that. You put the finger in the wrong place, Dr. Hockey?
Oh, bad or good.
All right. Yeah, so I think that where were we? Mike Williams, yeah. So I'm surprised actually that there were 3 people that went. I mean, I do not get the bidding this. I mean, yes, he's on a bye, so I figured, why do I need a player that's on a bye already? We're already playing daily fantasy at this point. But $10 is not a bad price for that. I think that's a totally reasonable price. The Miami defense goes for $7. Full, and there's your Fulgham guy. So what has he done? I mean, here's the thing, 13 and then 31. Here's the thing. Every week they're like, this is going to be the Eagles guy. It was Ward. It was, I mean, who was it earlier? I mean, everybody. Goddard was, according to Goddard.com, he was one of them.
Honestly,
every week,
I stay away from that team. I just stay away.
I know. Exactly. I
don't even touch the Eagles because of what you're just saying right now.
Exactly. You have no idea. It was Rigor. Wasn't it Rigor one week? Who was the guy? Geez, we were watching the game. They said this guy had, out of all of the receivers, they're like, this guy has 46 career receptions.
That was Ward.
Right. So why wouldn't you go to the guy that has 46 career receptions? No, they're going to go to Fulgham. I'm saying
is atrocious.
The whole team is atrocious, which is part of the thing. By the way, to have some actual kind of analysis, this is why I don't think that Miles Sanders is that valuable, because they're trailing all the time. and so they don't establish as much of a run game as another team might. He might be a good running back or not, but that team is a train wreck. And generally, when a team is a train wreck, the running backs do not necessarily do that well. He had a good game last week, but I think overall, I think that hurts his value. There's some actual analysis and not just ridiculousness that I like to do on this show. Chenault, I can't believe this guy went for $31. Look, he's good, but I mean, $31. He's like injured this week. Invalid claim due to previous reaction. So Gronky Kong. Okay, that's interesting. And then Tillatre went for $18. I mean, I guess he wanted to sit him on the bench for Julio Jones, who's not going to play. And the Whalers with $9. So 31. I mean, we're back up to. I mean, these were like so the bids this week were like in the $30 range. So we went down from 90. We're down into the 30s, which I still think is overplaying for a lot of these players. Frankly, a lot of these are players that everybody. I think Chenault was on Zamunda like a week ago, and he just got dropped.
But again, with Jacksonville, you don't know if it's going to be Keelan Cole. You don't know if it's going to be Chark. Like it's such a crapshoot, and Minshew is just not consistent enough.
I know exactly. That's why. I mean, look, he's good. He's decent. I don't know if he's injured. I don't know if he's.
Yeah, some games they decide to run. Some games they decide to pad. They don't really have a identity. And it just makes it tough. I don't know. This week is my like bye weeks. I have a lot of bye weeks, so it's kind of a crapshoot. But I picked up, I think, Cole. But
yeah, you did. I was halfway pissed that you picked him up because I literally have been picking him up every week. That's like my Sunday tradition. I pick him up and then I drop him. Because I'm like, I'm going to flirt with this guy, and then he ends up getting me 8 points on the. Because I'm like every week I'm like. Do I want him? And then he plays, and I'm like, no, I don't, and then I drop him. So, I was sad to see him go.
And the Eagles, I mean, they're just tough to play.
Yeah, the Eagles are worse though. I mean, I would at least feel there's a chance for somebody to go on. I mean, the Eagles, you just basically have to see who was bagging groceries last week, and whoever that is, that's the guy that you pick up because it's somebody that you literally never heard of before that. And I just don't see spending. I don't see spending $25 on Fulgham because he had a good week last week on that. I don't know. I mean, especially now as we get down towards the latter half of the season, especially in this season where there's so many things. With COVID and everything else, I kind of want to have some money. I might start spending it, but I just didn't see anything this week that was, worth it. I think Mike Williams is a deal at $10, but it's a deal because he's not going to play till next week.
Right.
And I think the Claypool, he could work out, but I really
he could also be a bust.
I think that there's a good chance. I think that a lot of it had to do with Deontay Johnson. I think that people were not watching these games and did not necessarily. They just looked at the scores. Is what I think happened with
Barry and said, "Go get this guy," and he did.
Yeah, exactly.
A latte show saying Claypool.
I'm sure.
Yeah, I'm learning the hard way with Justin Jefferson because they just run the ball so much and.
Yeah, I mean that's been
people grabbing their going. Thank God. We have Madison.
I know. Because, yeah.
Can you imagine what he would have gone for?
No, I actually, had he been available, I think that these other guys wouldn't have been going for like $30. I think everybody would have just thrown their money.
Can you imagine the Madison sweepstakes?
No, I think it would have been in the 80s, 70s, 80s. And I think that.
I would have said we would have gone for over 100. That would have been
possibly. Possibly, probably. I don't know.
Dalvin Cook was cruising, and Madison in that game still got over.
Well, everyone runs over the Seahawks.
Yeah, but Madison's the guy that they've been saying forever. I mean, Matthew Berry. I haven't watched him that much this year, but I know that for years, and even what I saw of him from the beginning of the year, he was like, "You got to get Madison. You have to hold on to Madison. He needs to be your like all these shows are like Madison, and." Now that he was actually, relevant, of course, it would have been insane.
Mm-hmm.
It would have been insane. And I think that actually would have driven down the price of some Chenaults to $10 because everyone spending their money on Madison. But yes, thank God for the Hagglers.
Oh my God, that was an immediate stash away from week 1. I think we did that.
Mm-hmm. Good move there. As far as the rest of the transactions, anything of note? I actually called up Dr. Hockey today because my phone was going off with all his transactions, and it was really interesting because everybody that he got that he picked up, I was like, oh, I was looking at them. I was thinking about that. I was like, we must be reading the same stuff. I don't know what you're reading, but I mean, who did you get? You ended up getting.
We picked up Christian Kirk.
Oh yeah, Christian Kirk. I was looking at him. I mean, his numbers have been inching up. I was like, he's been getting better.
The Miami kicker.
I wasn't looking at him, but yeah, he's been lights out. Like, I mean, what has he got? 18-22. Yeah. Oh yeah, the Arizona defense going against Dallas now that they don't have Dak
this week, so they're going to be getting more touchdowns than field goals.
Who?
The Dolphins.
The Dolphins, yes. Although, who knows? I mean, that's possible, but I mean, they played Seattle. I mean, Seattle.
They put up points. I was considering doing Sanders, but Graham Gano also went off last week. So, I mean,
I've been fine with my kicker, so I haven't been looking at him. But yeah, I mean,
yeah.
I think it's a decent kicker to get. Yeah, but Kirk, I was looking at him, and then the defense. I think that's a good defense to get against Dallas this week. The Arizona defense. I chose to go with Washington, but it could have been either. The football team. I got the football team for less than these. How much did you spend? 14 on them earlier this season. But yeah. All right, that's it with that. We can go to the money. How much? Why do I keep going to that? Because I am curious who has money now. So you're down to 64. The Crush is down to 82. I'm actually surprised at how much money everybody has. I'm not surprised that Nick and Jamie have 200. But everybody else has spent some money. 49 for the Whalers, so he's starting to get hurt for money. So what did I say? Gronk account 117. So I mean, everybody has a lot of money left. So I guess we could spend whatever. What is this? Congrats on having the most touchdowns in your league this week. Your burner team. Look at that. He got a medal. All right, so let's move on. Let's move on to this week's upcoming matchups. Where should we start, gentlemen? What just screams at you that this game needs to be covered?
Let's start with your game. With Donkey Kong, my burner team.
With your burner team?
Yeah, the last my burner team before you meet him.
Great. So you can come on and rub in his win against me. Fantastic. I love it. So what have we got? So he's favored 122 to 111. I mean, frankly, 111 is a dynamite projection for me. I've been getting projections in the 70s and 60s. I mean, I've been exceeding them at least, but to have 111, I think we might go off this week. Look out, record book. I mean, whatever. So he's got Allen against KC. I've got Roethlisberger against Cleveland. I think they'll both do fine. Higgins against Thielen, and Thielen's playing in Atlanta. That's a joke. He's going to destroy me there. Edelman versus Brown, playing against Philadelphia. That'll kick my ass. Aaron Jones versus Todd Gurley at Minnesota. All right, so my big hope, obviously, is because I know one of the players tested positive for COVID in Atlanta. I need some COVID help. Hopefully that game gets shut down, and then I have a chance this week. If that game goes forward, then I think we're fucked. Lindsey, because of, I mean, look, he's playing New England, so that's a difficult matchup, but we'll monitor the Melvin Gordon situation and the DUI. If he's in jail, then we'll certainly play Lindsey. If he's out on bail, we'll see what we do with the timeshare there. My buddy Tanyan comes back, going against Schultz. We might have the advantage there, although I don't know. I mean, he had one ridiculous game. I don't know if he's like sustainably good, but we're gonna
got one win from that bastard. Can just that's enough.
I mean, yeah, but I mean, I don't. Maybe he's going to win up against both of your teams. That would be nice if Tanya can pull it out against both of your teams. And Gaskin actually has been really surprising, frankly. 20 points last week, and other than that, he's been in double digits every week. So I think I'm going to go with him. Although I have so many choices on my bench. So yeah, I mean, hopefully it's only another couple of weeks before McCaffrey comes back, and this team doesn't have to be a complete embarrassment.
Well,
but
does Gronky Kong play Le'Veon Bell? Is Le'Veon Bell playing this week?
I don't know. Why don't you ask yourself?
I know exactly. He's not available right now, but so they hope he will be cleared to practice by next Wednesday. So he's not going to play.
Okay.
Ordinarily, Bell could practice the day he signs. In the COVID era, he needs 5 straight days of negative tests and is then eligible to practice if he's negative on the 6th day point of contact. So thank God for COVID at least prevented that from happening. So, which is ridiculous. I mean, you could play just because you're traded. You have to. It's not like there's a bubble. What does it matter? He's been playing already on the Jets. What kind of cockamamie rules are these? That's ridiculous. I mean, like,
they're really shitty rules. That's why all these teams are testing positive.
I know
it was so poorly organized.
I know it's absolute insanity.
Horrible.
I mean, like, I could see if you had like the NHL had 2 different bubbles, and if you had to go from one bubble to the next, you have to clear whatever. But I mean, they're just out on the street getting DUIs. I mean, punching people, doing whatever that. But you have to wait 6 days? I mean, he was just playing. It's not like he got cleared after working in a COVID ward. He got cleared after playing on the Jets, which, frankly, is not that much different. But whatever. I mean, obviously, Gronky Kong should win this game just based on his receivers. I'm really, you used to root for injuries. I'm rooting for COVID. That's the only chance that we have. We need some COVID to hit Minnesota, and then
my burner team is pulling off what I pulled off last year, where we lost the first game of the season, and then we're just going on these ridiculous run.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I mean, we'll see. Well, I mean, yeah, we also have to see about the legal status of
this beginner's luck.
Yeah, well, he hasn't been as trash talky.
Just wait till next week.
Mm-hmm. All right. So,
but I think he'll be more diplomatic than I was last year. So
I mean, he's barely, he's barely whatever. I barely hear from him except other than nice things that he says in there. What kind of fun is that? Congratulations on your honeymoon, by the way. You get to fuck me this week. All right. Who's
driving home from the wedding? You or Gronky Kong? All
right. Anybody else's thoughts on this game? I see the finger moving towards the button.
Nope.
It was just a stray finger.
No, he's switching his Spotify songs.
Okay. So anybody else?
I'm surprised they gave you 111. I'm picking Gronky Kong.
I know. Me too. Man, he's already texting Nick about his basketball game, saying 15 minutes. So let's move this shit along. All right, move it along. That's how much faith he has in us. This is going to be 15 minutes more he's giving us. All right. Yeah, so obviously everybody's picking the burner team?
Yes.
Okay. Where are we going to next? Just go down the list? Is that what we're going to do?
Yeah, why not?
Except we're gonna skip over here because I want to. All right, so we'll go to the 3-ring circus. Wow, you actually do get Nick and Jamie. Look at this, geez.
Look at this projection. We're already 91-9.
I've never seen it blood red like just in the prediction.
Well, it's perfect because we're brawlers. Bloody noses and busted up knuckles already. The bad news brawlers roll into town, roll into the garbage barge. It's going down tonight.
Well, I mean, look, this is how clearly the team that loses this might be slightly behind the 8 ball at 0-6. So this is kind of a must-win for both of these teams.
Oh, this is it. This is the Super Bowl for us.
This is like mid-season Trey kind of game.
This is for all the cheese half-eaten tuna cheeseburgers. This is for all the half-eaten baconators in the garbage dumpster right now.
Well, clearly you haven't put many people. I mean, obviously Madison is going to go in for Dalvin Cook. I don't know what you're going to do about Emmanuel Sanders. I mean, what do you have? I mean, do you have like anybody on your bench?
Yeah, no, the COVID-19 guy.
Well, let's see about Melvin Gordon. What's going on with him? What's the latest? He's got an orange. All right. So the orange on Melvin Gordon. He returned to practice on Thursday.
Did he? From his jail cell? Did he have like an ankle bracelet on? Did they let him out of his cell?
Yeah, so Gordon almost certainly wouldn't be practicing if the Broncos were planning to suspend him for Sunday's game against the Patriots. We suppose that could still happen, but at most, Gordon will probably receive a token 1 to 2 series ban before entering the must-win game. He remains in the low-end RB2 ranks, even with Gordon seemingly on track to play. Philip Lindsay has low-end PPR flex appeal for a contest where Drew Lock should be returning under center.
You got banana appeal.
So he might actually play. So you might actually have something. And then Madison will go in, so that's going to change that. I mean, obviously, so your projection is going to go up. Watson at Tennessee. I don't.
Even Josh Allen didn't do well.
Yeah. Hill at Buffalo. I don't really know any of that. Oh, wow, he's been pretty good. Michael Gallup, Sands, what do you call it? Dak. See how he does now. I mean, he hasn't even been lighting it up even with Dak there, so I don't know. We'll see how Dalton does for him.
Great going up against their old Hagler team.
Yeah, but I mean, it's all going to Edmonds, who's on Dr. Hockey's team. So, yeah, I know. Mixon. How's Mixon been doing? I mean, I know he's been pretty terrible most of the season, but in the last 2 weeks, so 42 and then 15. So he's back
that 1 week he got more than he got all season.
Right, exactly. But at least he's back into slight double digits. Now he's playing Indy. I don't know. We'll see. Those Indy games just go slow and boring as shit. Zach Ertz, I mean, he's been bad. Fitzgerald, he's been worse. What's Fitzgerald done? Come on. Yeah, jeez. Oh, that's Ertz. Sorry, we're 2 away. It's taking the day up. I don't even know what's happening here. Okay. Great, I saw that. Can we go to the next one? Whatever. I don't care.
Game to write the Hagglers off against an 0-5 opponent. They're 0-5. The team is a circus. This is where the Hagglers usually get written off.
This is a trap game. I think that the Hagglers are I'm going to pick the Hagglers in this game. This is the exact kind of game that the Hagglers make. They start their run on this kind of bullshit kind of game. This is you could not have a more
scripted any better for the Hagglers.
Exactly. This is typical, stereotypical Haggler.
0-5 against the garbage barge. Both teams written off for dead. Nobody even looks down that far in the standing.
Your defense might go off for like 25 points against the Bengals.
People think that it's like a 10-team league now. Like, who are these guys?
Yeah, exactly. No, I'm picking the Hagglers. This is where they make their stand. This is where they make their run.
Mm-hmm. Or get the run.
I guess I'd go with the Hagglers.
Wow, what are you going with the Hagglers based off of? Just that history?
I think Madison will have a big game against the Falcons.
If that happens.
I like their matchups. I think Indy's defense could have a couple picks against the Bengals or against the Bungles. You call them Gesicki against the Jets. Excellent matchup. I don't know. I think the matchups favor the Hagglers. I think the players are better on Nick and Jamie, but it's going to be close. I think the Hagglers pulled out slightly.
Okay.
Against this
Hockey. I see. I've been seeing the finger wanting to get in here. Let's see. What do you got for us, Hockey?
I think you're all smoking. I I think this is Nick and Jamie's. I'm very sorry, Mr. Hagler. But I know what it's like to field the team with lots of injuries. And it's just, you never know who's all hurt.
I'd love to have injuries instead of fist fights and drunk driving. And COVID. Injuries would be welcome.
In fantasy football, it's all the same. And it's a shame.
But didn't you make the playoffs with that injury-ridden team last year, Dr. Hockey, based on the coaching moves that you made?
It ain't happening. Nick and Jamie got this one, man.
So you have no faith in Gaze's ability to pick some people out of the garbage can that nobody was thinking of this week. You just think
I think he has great trash picking ability, but I don't see it going down this Sunday.
Well, Gordon's picking up trash in an orange jumpsuit. Maybe we'll ask him.
All right. Well, 3-1. I'm just basing it purely on I think this is when Geese finally wakes up and pays attention. But if I look at this team and these rosters and everything else, holy shit, should you get your ass whooped. I mean, based on that, I would completely pick Nick and Jamie. But I'm picking the Hackettstown Hagglers. All right. Let's move on as we have some basketball to get to. I don't want him to tune out yet. All right, we'll move on to the Blues versus Tillett Trey. So Cyberdyne is favored by a lot. I wonder if he's going to play a quarter. Is he going to spot him a quarterback at this point or no? I mean, he loves spotting players, some teams and players. Does he even have another quarter? Ooh, it's going to be rough. Well, I think if he spots him a quarterback, I'm certainly going to pick the Blues. If he doesn't, let's see. What's Julio Jones' status? Would not have practiced had the Falcons suited up on Thursday. Well, the Falcons didn't actually practice, so this is just their estimation. So they're saying they didn't actually practice because of COVID, but even if they had, we don't think that he would have. Yeah. So he's spotting him a wide receiver probably and a quarterback. Do we even have to go through this? The Blues is going to win this game. I mean, I don't even have anybody. I mean, Frank Snore is now the number one. You are my number one over there in the Jets land. I mean, Crowder should do well, I guess, since he's like the only one with a pulse over there. His kicker's on a bye. I mean, who does he? I mean, play Cooks, although he's playing against Tennessee, so whatever. Ugh, I mean, is Font back? It doesn't even matter. I'm not wasting my time. I'm picking the Blues here.
I have to go with the Blues.
Blues all the way.
A toilet tray. Didn't we talk about what a toilet tray is?
Yes. I think we should sell a toilet tray. It's like you put all of your laptops and everything else on it as your iPad. As you do your business. I would buy a toilet tray. Anyway, hockey.
Yeah, this one goes to the Blues.
Okay. Yeah.
What a award-winning commentary.
All right. Let's move on.
Was that pre-recorded or was that him actually talking?
I don't know. I saw the finger move. I think it's that. All right. So we can move on to the Zamunda Lions versus the Mighty Whalers. What do we think is going to happen here? The Zamunda Lions are favored 134 to 122. We know how good the Lions are in general, and we know what a dumpster. And by the way, the Raccoons, have they been eating that much this week? I don't think that there was anybody there for them to pick up. Is Chark going to even play?
Everyone I throw in the garbage, he picks up.
Likewise. I mean, frankly, his top two receivers right now, DJ Chark and AJ Brown, are both they were dropped in the garbage can because of COVID, and this guy picked them up. He remained sidelined at practice. I mean, this is just insulting to watch. Both of the people that I drafted as receivers, and I had to drop because in order to just field the team at this point. Knee didn't practice Thursday. All right, so he's at least still injured too, so that makes me feel good. Hopefully none of these guys go. Connor going against Cleveland, he should have a decent game. Mostert comes back. Going against the Rams, that might be tougher. Kittle, who you already, made fun of. Although I do remember actually them giving up a decent amount of tight end points in the past. So I don't know. And then Devonta Freeman, the young ho, and then of course he leaves the defense empty so he could just rack up the players that he keeps on his bench until the last minute. I'm surprised he even plays with the defense at this point. All right. And then for the Zamunda Lions, Kyler Murray playing on Monday night at Dallas. I think he's going to have a good game there. Anderson at Chicago, Cooper Kupp at San Francisco. That might be a little bit tough. I think Elliott gets more touches now that Dak is gone. James White, what's happening there? Somebody must be on a bye. Yeah, Kamara's on a bye. So that makes him a little bit more vulnerable. Jonnu Smith versus Houston. And Calvin Ridley's, I mean, that guy's so good too. I mean, obviously, I'm picking Zamunda.
Zamunda's a great team right now. We'll see if COVID or the injury bug.
I don't even think
brings him back down to earth.
I mean, Ridley would be the only COVID possible.
Yeah.
This is a pretty. I mean, he's got a 134 projection, and that's with Kamara on a bye. I mean, if Weller's going to take advantage of him, this is a good week to do it. But
honestly, even if Ridley is out, I might still even have to pick some of the Lions.
I don't know. And we also don't know what's going on with the receivers over there. I never count the one.
Is that James White making an appearance, Manny? There you go.
Yeah, I know.
Indeed it is.
I mean, the Patriots haven't played in a while. Feels like. And they have a lot of running backs.
Yeah. And Cam.
Burkhead, they got another guy.
Sony Michel, right?
Michel. Well, isn't he hurt?
I don't know. I don't pay attention. It's a carousel over there. All right.
They're a well-coached team, but their players typically don't do the best in fantasy football. It's
for who? Oh, the Patriots. Yeah, I agree. Because you never know where they're going to go.
Right.
In fact,
they're so well coached. They're preparing for schemes like amongst the teams. They're not really, targeting one specific guy.
I know, and that's part of my actually even. I don't know. I've thought about that. Like even when I picked up Edelman, when I was and I had some buyer's remorse, and I'm like, ugh. I mean, granted, the fact that Chark is out, but I mean, Edelman's been out too, so whatever. I don't know. So is anybody not picking Zamunda? Hockey? I know you're definitely.
I mean, I think Zamunda might have a slight problem with this bye week. I tell you what, I think it'll rest on the quarterbacks. Whoever has a higher scoring quarterback, I think, wins the game here.
Wow, that's bold. Okay.
And it's only because he's got one of his A-listers on a bye.
Prepare for a flurry of Shafto trade. 2 scoops of garbage coming towards everybody. On a shit cone.
I'm going with Zamunda. I still think that I don't think that I think that he's still. I mean, look, James White might be terrible, but I don't even know that these guys are going to play for the Whalers. I mean, if they do, let's suppose that all of these guys heal from their injuries and everything. I mean, Newton might have a decent game. I mean, I just don't. It's possible, but I mean, I'm definitely going with Zamunda as the favorite.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Is it time for Eugene to get a boner? His name is called. Let's just do this stupid thing. All right. Dave's Secret Crush takes on the Lightning Rods. And he's favored 71 to 29%. Ooh, look at this 133 to 104. But that's because Russell Wilson's on a bye. This motherfucker is going to come out and win and be 5-1. And he's going to think that he's the shit because Russell Wilson, the only good player over there, is on a bye. Fuck this shit.
Mm-hmm.
I don't even have to look at anything else. I'm disgusted right now by the thought of this game. Matt Ryan, I guess, is going to go in, and he's playing on a possibly COVID team, and then he also picked up Ryan Fitzpatrick. Play Fitzpatrick. Maybe he'll do something. That disgusts me. Will Fuller versus Tennessee. Odell Beckham at Pittsburgh. Robinson in Carolina. Claypool. I think he's going to regret the Claypool thing. Mike Davis in one of possibly his last games versus Kareem Hunt at Pittsburgh. Miles Sanders, he's playing the Sanders this week as he goes against Baltimore. Ooh, over-under. He's going to be over-under.
That's the under against Baltimore. Oof, that's way under.
I know.
I would take the under with 10.
I'm definitely going under there. However, the big question is, how does Edwards-Helaire do? Because this is like his last week to prove anything. I actually think Helaire has a very big game this week because he wants to prove it. Either that or he's just going to suck, and then you're never going to hear from this guy again.
Is he going to be hilarious?
I think he will be. Cameron Brate.
Le'Veon Bell go to the Chiefs. What did the Jets get?
Nothing. Didn't he just, I don't even know. I didn't pay attention. I mean, obviously Kelsey is better than Brate. CeeDee Lamb, I think he's going to be outplayed by Parker going against the Jets. I mean, CeeDee Lamb doesn't have Dak throwing to him, and I think that Parker will have a good game. Zerline. Manny's already telling Nick that he's almost done with the podcast, so really got to wrap this shit up. And then the Houston defense against the Rams. Sorry, Eugene, you're going to get cut short because of basketball. Has to be happening.
Because he's saying earlier, let's play our games. Well, here we go. We're going to play.
I know we're going to. We're actually cutting your coverage off so that you can get your wish in the other league happening here. Mm-hmm. So sorry, this is all your thing. But anyway, yeah, I'm going to pick. I'm going to have to wash out my tongue, but I'm going to pick Dave's Secret Crush to win this game because of Russell Wilson. Anyway,
he's going to play the two guys that he offered in a trade, McLaurin and Gibson, against the Giants of all teams.
No. I don't understand. I mean, like,
I think there's something.
Is the king of the bench blunders.
I know, he really is.
This game is won by the lightning rods. All he needs to do is put in Fitzpatrick, and it's over. The rest of this B-lister, C-lister lineup that DFC keeps running with is not going to carry the day. This is, look, he's got a good run going on, but I don't see him beating the lightning rods with Fitzpatrick in. I just don't see it.
What has Fitzpatrick been? I mean, he's been.
He's got a good running back core especially with Singletary too. He's decent running back core.
So Fitzpatrick, 28, 29, 21, 33. Yeah.
Odell can put up points. Allen Robinson can put up points.
Yep.
No, I don't see it happening.
Lightning Rods does have a pretty decent team.
Yeah. Well, that would make me very happy. So, I think that we'll see. I'm still picking Dave's Secret Crush.
I don't know why you're doing it.
Just to save myself like 3 texts. Doesn't matter. I'm going to still get them anyway, but whatever.
Maybe no disrespect to Eugene, but I don't see it happening.
I mean, plenty of disrespect to Eugene, but I'm still going to pick him. So wait. So how are we split? So Odwin is this like a 2-2? Geese, what are you?
I don't know if I would go with Aaron Rodgers comes in to save the day with Dak out. That's why he keeps another superstar quarterback on the bench. This Claypool thing is going to be interesting. Sanders with the tough matchup. Claypool, he's going to be a bust. Lamb, you're going to see the effects of the Dallas trickle down economics with Dalton. And, Dave's, I'm going to go with the Lightning Rods as well. That's going to earn me some hate mail, but I'm going to go with that.
Yeah, I'd have to go with the Lightning Rods too slightly. I think Kareem Hunt, he's going to get a lot of carries. And, I mean, it's a tough matchup, but so is Miles Sanders against Baltimore. That's a real tough matchup too. So
questionable.
Yeah, but he'll go.
Okay. He'll go. Wow, listen to that, Eugene. I'm the only one who's actually picked you. Please start texting these guys.
Fitzpatrick will put up 25, 30 points against the Jets unless they're up big at the first half and they start running the ball. And he'll get the 2 first with Devontae Parker. And then Hilaire, I think the Chiefs are going to have a bounce back game. I think they were pissed after that Ravens loss to the Raiders. So I think they'll have a good game all around, and they'll probably be up. Well, it's a tough matchup against Buffalo, but I think they'll be up, and then they'll start milking the clock with Hilaire.
All right. There you go, Eugene. 3 people who have made cogent arguments as to why you're going to lose. Still picking you. Please start texting them. Okay. Moving on to the final game of the week. It's the game between Hackettstown's finest and the Wakanda Panthers.
Ooh.
I know. Who do we even begin with here?
Well, this is an extremely tough week for me because my poor Seahawks are on a bye. So I've really, kind of had to play the game that you're playing with all your injury and COVID issues and, try to put together a decent team.
Me or Geese, because there's a lot of players on this podcast who have to deal with that.
Both of you.
Have any of your players been arrested this week?
Not yet.
Okay.
I felt like I got arrested after paying $90 for a worthless running back, but
he's playing this week, Nyheim Hines.
He is. I got no choice, and it's a good matchup against Cincinnati, so I'm hoping for the best. But he's got Taylor going.
Oh wow, you're playing running backs in the same game. Ooh, what has he done? 6. Yeah.
Opposite Colts running backs. How scintillating.
I know. Well, okay. I'm just scanning this roster. Holy, what a crap pile you've got over there on the finest this week. I have to go with Wakanda. Clearly, my God. Look at this. What a shit show you've got going on.
Well, look who I have on my bench. Basically, my whole team is on the bench.
Basically, literally.
Literally. You literally, if any of these guys get put on with COVID, you're done. Look at this.
I mean, my bench is this is the worst week of the season for me.
Look at this.
Once I'm 2-4, that's when I'm going to make my move.
It's typical.
If I can steal this game, I think I can secure a playoff spot. But
dude, if you have to do anything, you're screwed.
Looks like the Raccoons will be camping out in Hackettstown, waiting for some
We're
droppings.
holding a net.
Oh yeah. I mean, have you ever seen a bench like that? I can't make any bench blunders this week.
You can't do anything.
I would take that whole bench team over my starting team.
Holy crap! I don't never seen
because
that.
that bench is pretty damn good.
The entire team is on a bye.
Yeah, all my good players are on a bye except for Mahomes.
Yeah, there's literally no coaching moves to do. This is literally a set it and forget it week. There's no choice.
Exactly.
No second guessing yourself. Nothing. I put him out. I put him out there. What do you want?
Yeah. So, Audwin, you basically have
you're going with some questionable Hurst action. Brown. If any of these guys are out,
yeah,
you're out.
You better be monitoring those situations. Otherwise, you're going to be like.
But I mean.
Otherwise, you're going to be like Tillett Trey, just spotting them.
It's all crap on the waiver wire. I mean, at least John Brown doesn't play till Monday, so I can try to.
You're going to be the Jeffersons moving on out of the playoff hunt.
Yeah, well, that game's even threatened by COVID. We don't even know if that's going to. I mean, it looks like it probably will go, but. Oof. I don't know. Hockey?
I mean, I'll be sifting through the tight ends and the receiver. I mean, both of my good tight ends are on a bye. I mean, they're not good, but better than.
I'm going to go on the limb and say there's no way that Dr. Hockey loses. It's impossible.
Are any of your players on the bye, Audwin?
Say again?
Are any of your players on a bye? No.
None.
That's ridiculous.
You literally cannot. Your team is locked. You just go on to next week.
Yeah. All right,
Pretty
hockey.
much.
Feel free to analyze this game. I guess this is a trap game.
Look,
Trash.
no Carson, no Metcalf, no Cook, no problem.
No, no Eckler.
This is a battle of and this is a battle of 2, 2, and 3 teams. So presuming that Wakanda wins this, which I'm gonna presume at this point,
It's not a great time to have this happen because I am the highest scoring 2 and 3 team right now, and I want to keep it that way. But I don't think if I hit 100 this week, I'll be very surprised.
I mean, you're projected to get 110. So you're just spotting him like the flex stuff. I mean, hindsight. Yeah, I mean,
I have to hope for a banana peel for Taylor, and then Hines gets all the carries. But
I mean, even with that, you're still gonna lose. Dear God, this is
Keelan
bad.
Cole, he better be, that DJ Chark 29-point performance where he catches like 3 touchdowns.
Yeah, you need some Jefferson moving on up action in Atlanta, which is possible. I mean, look, everything would have to break exactly right, and then you have a chance, but I really just don't see it.
Yeah.
Okay, so is anybody picking the finest?
Hell no, not in this. This
No.
this is just forget about it.
Exactly. All right. So, I guess that's it. Let's do the lock of the week and the upset of the week. Who is your lock of the week? I think I got to go with Wakanda as my lock of the week.
Oh yeah.
At least it's an easy coaching week for me. I can just kind of relax and let the chips fall and
Relax and take the L.
yeah, hope for a massive upset.
I mean, actually, that's kind of what I did last week. Is I just was like, I'm going to lose this game. I really didn't even pay that much attention. So, hockey, I'm assuming. Well, actually, we're doing lock of the week. Who's your lock of the week?
Himself, obviously.
Might not be. Who knows?
Wakanda.
Okay. And Manny, who's yours?
Wakanda. But Wakanda, if you don't win this game, expect some serious trash talking next podcast. I would not recommend you come on next week if I win this game.
Is there even
I
going to be
absolutely will not.
All right, and then who is your upset of the week? Team that's currently favored, or that will lose. I mean, all of you. I mean, I would think it would have to be a lightning rod space.
Lightning rod's over. Yep. Big secret crush, but he has to put a quarterback in.
I'm going with the Hagglers. Hagglers. That's my upset of the week.
In the trap game.
Yep.
In the dumpster fire. This matchup's called the dumpster fire.
Yep.
They come out slightly less charboiled in a dumpster fire than Nick and Jamie.
Okay, so anybody have any comments about anything else?
Nope.
There's some basketball to be played. Congratulations to Johnny H721 on winning the first 2 golf tournaments, by the way. He's dominating now, but now that Nick is involved, he can get even more points because there'll be more people involved. What else is going on in the center? I got to play Yugi's. When are we going to play that game?
Soon.
Yeah, I know. All right. What?
We'll play tomorrow.
All right.
All right.
Manny is going to go play his games right now. Hockey, you have anything else to say?
Nope.
Finger.
All right. All right. Thanks for giving us your finger. Until next week. Good luck this week. See ya.
All right.
Yep.
So long.
See ya.
All right. Bye.